Repulsive.
Welcome to your station 1999K Radio, where the dead speak. Good evening, Nightwalkers, YouTube explorers and radio listeners. Welcome back to 1999K Radio. My name is Sebastian, and tonight, I will be your host. Thank you for being here in a new broadcast of this, your midnight show. Today, we have a great show for you guys. Tonight, February 5th, 2024, we begin transmission. Tell me, how was your week? This week I watched We're Still Here from 2015. It's a B movie, quite entertaining. It's not the best film you'll come across, but you can have a good time watching it. The story revolves around a couple who recently lost their child and moved to a town that is hiding a dark secret. I also watched Antrum, the deadliest film ever made, from 2018. Very good movie. This is a Canadian film. I wouldn't say it's a slow film, but that's just the piece of the movie. It's a documentary style film that talks about Antrum, a 1970s movie rumored to be linked to mysterious deaths. In addition to conducting the investigation, they show you the movie, the 70s film, Antrum. It is about two siblings who go into the woods to dig a hole to reach hell. I really enjoyed this film. I'll leave the trailers for these two movies in the description in case they catch your interest. Now, let's quickly move on to the birthdays for this week. On January 29th, 2019, the movie Saint Maud was released. It's a very good and peculiar film. On January 30, 1980, a film that is within my top 10 favorite horror movies, Maniac, with Joe Spinell as the protagonist, hit theaters. Personally, I believe this film is a gem and I love it. Also, on January 30, but in 1991, The Silence of the Lambs premiered, with Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal Lecter and Jodie Foster as the special agent Clarice Starling. A brilliant film and a very, very good start to a film series and a TV show. And I have to tell you that if you're a fan, don't miss out on the books. On February 1st, 1980, The Fog hit theaters. It was directed and written by the legendary John Carpenter. This movie, it's a true and an amazing pirate story. Also, on the same date, but in 1977, the movie Suspiria from Dario Argento hit theaters. This is the first movie of Argento's trilogy that is called The Three Mothers. This movie is really a horror work of art. The colors, the music, the actors. This movie made a before and after in horror movies. For those who are fans of Spanish music, the singer Miguel Bosé appears very, very young. On February 3rd, on 1994, one of the movies that is within the Apocalypse trilogy from John Carpenter hit theaters, In the Mouth of Madness, which was inspired by an H.P. Lovecraft novel. This is a very, very good movie. And finally, but never less important, February 4th, 1940, in Bronx, New York, the legend George A. Romero came to this earth. He is the father of the zombies. He created endless movies like Night of the Living Dead. Happy birthday, George A. Romero. And also, on this very same day, but in 1983, an amazing cult film directed by David Cronenberg, Videodrome, hit theaters. Well, now let's move on to the main topic of this episode. As I promised last week, today we will continue with the second episode of this mini-series about the gods of the Underworld and their regions. So let's continue our journey through the Underworld. Please, keep your hands inside the boat to prevent anything from grabbing you and making you stay here. We'll start with the Greek mythology. Hades is our first stop. Named after its god and ruler Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. The entrance to Hades is in the west, where the sun sets. Upon leaving this world, the first being you'll encounter is Charon, the ferryman of the dead. He will charge you for your journey, which is why the Greeks place 2 coins on the eyes, or in the mouth of the deceased. During your journey, Charon will take you across the river Styx, the entrance to the underworld. It is also the river of the unbreakable oaths, where gods made solemn promises that they can't broke. First, you'll arrive at the palace of Hades, which has diamond gates guarded by Cerberus, the fierce 3-headed dog. It is said that inside the gates lies Hades' palace with precious jewels and the finest metals. Only those who pay their fare to the ferryman could enter the palace. Otherwise, they will wander between the 2 worlds. Now, the ones who will decide your fate are the 3 judges of the underworld: Minos, Radamanthus, and Aeacus. Minos was associated with knowledge and justice. He owns the labyrinth where the Minotaur resides. Radamanthus, known for being strict in judgment and committed to maintain order, he usually decides punishments or rewards for your past actions. And finally, Aeacus is known for his sense of justice, intelligence, and proving fair judgment. He helps his brothers determine your ultimate fate. These 3 judges will convene, review your life, and decide your destiny. Hades was beneath the earth, had 5 rivers, and is divided into 3 regions. First, the Elysium Fields, reserved for the souls of the virtuous and heroes. Second, Fields Osaphodel, a neutral area where ordinary souls, neither particularly good or bad, reside. And finally, the Tartarus, the deepest abyss in the underworld, where the worst souls and enemies of the gods suffer their punishment. If your fate is the Tartarus, Charon will take you to your new residence for eternity. First, we have the Acheron River, known as the River of Woes or the River of Pain. If you were wicked in life, you will spend eternity in suffering and remorse. The second one is the Acocytus River, the River of Wailing, associated with the suffering and sadness experienced by people when they die and lose their lives. This river receives those who committed terrible acts against their fellow beings, particularly betrayers and murderers. Dante, in his poem The Divine Comedy, describes it as a frozen river at the bottom of hell, reserved for traitors, divided into 4 concentric circles. The third river is the Pyriligeton River, the River of Fire, reserved for those who harmed their parents and misused the fire given by Prometheus to humans for their crimes. The souls in this river burns intensely for eternity, serving as a divine punishment. It is said that the nature of the fire is purifying for the souls. And finally, the Lethe River, the River of Forgetfulness. This river had 2 purposes. The first one, it was believed that the souls entering the underworld drank from it to forget their past lives before starting the journey. The second one, it is said The spirits to be reincarnated on Earth had to drink from this river to forget their past life, their journey to the Underworld, and return to Earth. Now, let's go to a colder place, the Norse Underworld, that is called Helheim, the realm of the goddess Hel, also known as Hela. Escaping this place is impossible, as even the gods of Asgard have tried and failed. Helheim is a cold and misty realm where winter is eternal, located beneath the roots of Yggdrasil, the World Tree. To reach Helheim, you must cross the frozen river Gjol. This river marks the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Once you have traversed the Gjol River, you will arrive at the monstrous gates of Helheim, guarded by Garmr, a fierce dog with eyes as red as fire, ensuring that anyone entering the underworld stays there. Unlike Valhalla, where was a place for heroes falling in battle, chosen by Odin to fight by his side, Helheim is a place for the rest of the population. These deceased individuals will aid Hela in Ragnarok. Upon crossing the gates, you will find Hela's Hall, where ordinary people, those who live an honorable life but did nothing remarkable, reside. This is a desolated and gloomy place where the souls of the departed live perpetually in shadows and silence. But the souls of the wicked ones have a worse fate reserved for them. They are in a desolated and frozen lands of Nastrond, roughly translated as Shore of the Corpses. It's a place of eternal punishment, where the condemned souls are tormented by venomous serpents. Passing Nastrond, you will reach the Hall of Hela, where the goddess resides, half alive, half dead. Half of her body has fair skin and a beautiful gaze, while the other half is putrefied with an empty stare. Hela ensures the balance between the living and the dead. Tired of cold, aren't you? Let's go to Egypt. In the Egyptian mythology, we have the Duat, where the gods Osiris and Anubis reside. The Duat was beneath the earth. Unlike Greek mythology, it was said that the entrance was to the west, where the sun sets. It was believed that the sun god Ra traveled through the Duat every night, overcoming challenges and obstacles to emerge in the east the next day, symbolizing cyclical life and resurrection. In the Duat, the human soul faced various challenges. The Egyptians called the soul Ka or Ba. When someone passed away, they embarked on a journey within the Duat, passing through gates, caverns, dark regions, and navigating through dangerous paths. Now, for this journey, if you had enough money, Egyptians brought a scribe. This person will interrogate you about your sins committed in life, and based on your answers, he will create a book of the dead just for you. In this book, the scribe includes spells to help you navigate your way through the Duat, such as incantations to ward off crocodiles or wild boars. A crucial moment in this journey is when you stand before the god Anubis and reach the Hall of Double Truth to be judged. Your heart is placed on a scale, with your heart on one side and a feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, on the other. The deceased have to perform the negative confession, declaring the 42 major sins they had not committed in their life to each of the 42 judges presented in the room, forming the tribunal of Osiris. The heart could increase or not in weight. If the deceased spoke the truth in their confessions, the judges declared them right of voice. God thought, acting as a scribe, record the results, and present them to Osiris. Since I already know you have committed sins, in your Book of the Dead there are spells to win over the gods and make your heart float. Your heart must weigh less than Maat's feather to be considered pure, and Osiris will allow you to continue your existence in the afterlife, in the field of reeds, or Aru, a paradise where you will be with your loved ones and your pets. But if your heart is heavier due to your misdeeds, it will be devoured by a monstrous creature called Amit, the devourer of the dead. This creature has a crocodile head, hind legs of a hippopotamus, mane, torso, and forelegs of a lion. Once he devoured your heart, you cease to exist in the history of Egypt forever. So, tell me guys, where do you think you will end up? What will be your fate after being judged? Alright, that's how we wrap up this week's episode. Before I go, I want to remind you, those of you who are artists, writers, painters, sculptors, or creators of horror or mystery content, to leave me your Instagram. I will love to check your work and share it. I'll leave mine in the comments too if you want to talk a little bit. Also, my very good friend Dead Gun Showtime has a Twitch channel where sometimes I join to play Battlefield 5. If you can go, check it out and say hi from me. I will really appreciate it. I'll leave its link in the description. Please, don't forget that this episode will be uploaded in Spanish as well, in case you have a friend who doesn't speak English, but you think you will find interesting in learning more about the rulers of the Underworld and their regions. I'd like to thank Repulsive for his music that accompanied this episode. And I want to thank you all for tuning into 1999K Radio. Have a calm and chilly night, and don't forget to always carry your coins for the ferryman, just in case. Good night.